In the spirit of reconciliation, the new blurt acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today.
I can't take it anymore!
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, Blurtsters, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the Blurt.
Good evening. You absolutely are listening to the new Blurt, and we are just going to get straight into what is on the show. We have tonight Party in the USA, which it obviously isn't. Lots of things happening in the USA at the moment. Biden's trying to get infrastructure bills through. We've got Republican senators stopping abortion bills going through. And tonight we'll actually be discussing a little bit about what's actually happening in Texas regarding the abortion bills and how it affects Roe versus Wade, etc. We'll discuss all that at the time. We've got what's on the box. Well, what is on the box? It's been a while. We haven't visited what's on the box for a while. I'll be talking about a documentary or feature film, if you like, that Craig Rucastle has just recently directed, and will it be able to be seen in the next month or so, and I'll give those links in our show notes after the show of where you can watch it. And then to round the show off, we've got Beer Education, because, well, why not, really? It's warming up. I've actually just got a shirt on, not a fleece. And I can tell you, I think it's around about 19 degrees, which I don't say very often. So it's very, very good to be able to say that. So, yeah, so Beer Education, we've got some wicked beers to have a chat about tonight. And with that, no further ado, I say good evening. What's up?
Howdy, howdy. Greetings. How's your little household today?
Our little household, our little household's fine. It's all right. It's okay. As I said, the sun is actually shining, and I've been in that shining sun today for a little bit. So it's been very good. Been very, very good.
Yes, I saw in the promo video that you there was a bit of sun there today.
Yes.
Good to see.
Yes, very much so. But I still had my beanie on. But I did have a t-shirt on. So, you know.
Yes.
That was early in the morning though. So, but in late in the afternoon, it was very nice. As I say, it was about 20 odd degrees, so it was pretty good. As you say, a good drying day. It was a good drying day. Had just a little bit of wind, and but COVID cases up today, which wasn't too great. That took the wind out of my sails slightly. But to be honest, I'm getting over it quite quickly because the vaccination rates are going up. So that's really, really good news.
Yeah, you guys are approaching 80% this week, I believe.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Extra
tomorrow.
Freedoms.
Yes, hold more 5Ks.
Yeah.
And,
excellent. So you can go to Bunnings now.
Yes. Well, I could go to Bunnings before. As soon as they stretched it out to 10, I was all right. I was fine. Yeah. And to be honest with you, we've got a Bunnings within 5 anyway, so it's not a big deal. But so we get an extra 5. But more than that, but this happened a couple of weeks ago. I mean, people can have, picnics, etc. I find it really funny. I was walking through the other half this morning in the park. We just had our coffee. We're just walking through the park as we're allowed to do. And I was just thinking, I'm sitting here, I'm having a coffee, I'm in the middle of the park, and other people are sitting next to each other, and they could be part of the same family or whatever. I'm not talking 50 people or what. I'm just saying, 2 or 3 or whatever situations, and we've got these idiots that are protesting about being locked down, etc. And I was thinking, it's interesting how locked down we actually are, especially at the moment, because really, from a lockdown perspective, really more than anything, you can't go to the pub. And I think that's what's affecting probably heaps.
Half the tradies.
Yeah, exactly right.
Most of the tradies.
Most of the tradies, exactly right. And you can't go to, sporting games, etc. But you can't go to art, can't go to culture, all that sort of stuff. I mean, that's, so when you say you're locked down, you're like, well, yes and no. You to a certain extent, you're not. I mean, you can't go to work into the city, but you can actually get out of your house for 4 hours now and do some exercise and do what you need to do and wear your mask, etc., etc. So,
you're not going to your house and not
No.
able to go anywhere. So
No. I mean, unfortunately, you are locked down, and in effect, you're locked down to 15 Ks. That's true. I mean,
yeah.
that part is true. But yeah, you've just got to try to get through it as well as you can, sort of thing.
Just a few more weeks, guys, and you guys will get through.
Yep, absolutely.
That'll be the end of it.
Counting the days down. It's only 28 days to 28 days to go, I think. So,
yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, all that's all right. I was listening to a podcast today. Actually, I was listening Colin Hay.
Oh, from singer. What's his name?
Men at Work.
Men at Work. That's it.
Yes. Yeah. No, it was really interesting. He was saying as fast as they got huge, they got small just as fast.
Yeah.
It was, they really were, as you say, an overnight success. I mean, as you remember, they were everywhere when it came to the what was it, the yachting thing? What was that called?
The America's Cup.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, if anyone sacks their work at a day, they're a bum or something. Something along those lines.
I'm sure Bobby Hawkeye wanted to say, they're an asshole if they get sacked.
Oh,
he held back. He would.
He did. I'd say outside of that, when he was drunk and on the floor, he was probably saying that.
Yeah,
but that's probably a bad thing to say about an ex-prime minister. But it is known that unfortunately he was a big drinker. But he was very good too. I liked him very much so.
Yes, he did well for the country.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. He put us where we are now, basically.
Yeah.
So, not in COVID, not necessarily COVID, not in pandemic territory. I wasn't talking about
that's Scott Morrison's fault.
Yes, exactly right. We blame him entirely for the pandemic, as it were. Well, the first segment of the rank is, whoa, it's a party in the USA. I'm not going to play the other one because we may get sued, so I've got to just get them sorted. So I thought, well, I'll have to do something, and as bad as that was, at least we won't get sued. So, did you want to go ahead on what's happening in the US and how it's not necessarily a party, and it just seems that everyone's mad at Biden at the moment, unfortunately?
Depends on which perspective you're talking about. It is a party for some, not for others.
Okay.
Do tell. I will start with how it all started. It started off with a pseudonym who went by the name of Jane Roe at the time in 1969 in Texas. Her real name later, so
I
her
didn't
real
realize
name
it actually started in Texas. That's
in Texas,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which I think is where it's. Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Absolutely. Yep. Sorry, my bad. I'll shut up.
That's all right. So 1969, this lady by the name of Jane Roe was pregnant for the third time. She had an alcoholic mother, an absent father, who, so family wasn't that great. She had two other children before to different fathers, so she was having a third, and she wanted an abortion.
Oh my God! Wow! Oh my God!
At the time in Texas and many states of the US, abortion was only allowed if it was going to endanger the mother. And so because this wasn't the case, she decided to take it to court, and she was pointed to two feminist lawyers at the time. So you can imagine we've got the 60s where the feminist movement had kicked off and was all well and truly
bra burning
play. Yeah, exactly. So you got these two lawyers, Linda Coffey and Sarah Weddington, took the case to court, and they went against the district attorney of Dallas County, Henry Wade, hence Roe versus
Wade.
Roe versus Wade. So they took it to federal court. It took about 3 years of decisions and appeals for the Supreme Court to conclude that the Texan law was unconstitutional, because there's nowhere in the Constitution that mentions abortions. And so the Supreme Court reasoned that a right to privacy, which the court had previously found was implicit in several parts of the Constitution and covered things such as contraception and procreation, extended to a right to have an abortion. And so that's where we got up to in 1973 when the Supreme Court finally ruled 7-2 of the judges moved in favour that Texan abortions was legal.
That 7-2, was that a Supreme Court or was that the Federal
Supreme
Court?
The Supreme Court.
Right, the Supreme Court. And
Yeah.
what year was that?
73. January 22, 1973.
Do we know who was in 73? Prime Minister, President was?
President? No, was it Nixon?
Not 100% sure.
Yeah,
but
not
the
sure.
reason I'm asking is because 7-2 being in favour of Roe versus Wade, you would think that would have to be quite a moderate / democratic Supreme Court. Because as you know, it's a very conservative one now.
Yeah, it is. Thanks to the previous administration has made it that way.
Yeah. He completely
But they are lifelong judges, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Some of them, I think, are nearly 80 or maybe over 80. The one that died, I think she was 80 plus. Plus she had...
Ginsburg?
Yeah. She was, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. If you've never seen her film, you want to look for it. There's two things to look for. The film that is depicted by, I can't remember her name, but she does a fantastic job. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I believe, was a consultant on the film as well. And the documentary on Ruth Bader Ginsburg, both well worth watching. Really good stuff.
If we find it, we'll put it in the show notes, I reckon.
Yeah, for sure. She's seriously, that was a huge loss. And Trump was horrible when she went down. He spent about 2 seconds saying how good she was or whatever. And then the rest of his diatribe was this super right-wing Christian nut job that's conservative as all hell, who's got about 700 kids.
Yeah.
She's very, very bright, don't get me wrong, but she's so conservative, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. She's not in the real world conservative.
No, not
and so that was a real issue recently, which I apologize. Have you that's fantastic to get the history on that. Have you got any more on that, or is that
just a little bit just beyond
Go for
that? In the 80s, she so Jane Roe was the pseudonym, but after a few years, I think soon after the federal decision, her name was released and she was okay with it. Norma McCorvey. So in the 80s, she began volunteering at abortion clinics and campaigned in favor of women's right to choose. But about 10 or 15 years later, she met a leader of a pro-life organization and became friends. And then she started campaigning for the pro-life. But she admitted, she did.
My God.
Yeah. But,
oh my God.
Yeah. So after all of that, she goes...
blown my tiny little mind. Oh my God.
And so she admitted a few years. There we go. I was waiting for that. Better late than never.
Yes, exactly right.
But a few years before she passed, she died in 2017, but a few years before she admitted that she had been paid to be on the pro-life campaign. So it wasn't really what she believed in, but she came from a troubled life, and she did what she had to do to survive.
Yeah, it's not fair to judge, is it? But gee whiz, just wow, that has blown. That's blown my tiny little mind. But on the same obviously issue, in a bid to nullify the Texas controversial near total abortion ban, the U.S. House on Friday passed a reproductive rights bill that was to codify in federal law the right to an abortion. So the whole idea is to make it unconstitutional, which is what they're trying to do in Texas, is make it. The White House is trying to make it unconstitutional. But the U.S. Representative Henry Cuellar, a Laredo Democrat, voted against the bill. But otherwise, it was passed almost completely along partisan lines, 218 to 11. In the Congress. So they've got the power in the Congress. So, they always but it's going to go to the Senate now. And as we
Okay.
both know, it's got Buckleys of getting through, which is terrible.
Who controls the Senate? Is it the Dems?
Well,
Democrats?
yeah, Democrats do by only one vote, though.
Right.
And
Okay.
as I'm just about to allude to here, unfortunately, with most, I don't know, it's a weird and wonderful system over there. With most policies, pieces of legislation they want to get through over there, they have to have 60 votes.
Oh,
You don't
right.
have at least, it's called a supermajority. Unless you have at least 60 votes, you can't get your legislation through. It's unbelievable.
60 votes or 60%?
No, 60 votes.
60 votes.
Sorry,
right, okay.
60. Sorry, I apologize. Yes. I'm right. It's 60. Yeah, it's got to be 60.
Yeah.
Because of the way. Well, see, I think there's only like 102 in the Senate or something like that.
Yeah. So it's still a majority, but...
or 101 or something like that.
Mm.
So that's why I say they have to have 60 votes as such, which actually, equates to around about 60%, but it is actually 60 votes. They call it a supermajority. Otherwise, what they have is they have this thing called the filibuster, and that's where they just bang on for as long as possible to avoid having the vote. And this is a Republican tool that goes back to the slave times, and that's what it was for. That's what it was originally for. And really, the Democrats should be doing as much as they possibly can to get rid of this thing, because it's archaic, it's not needed, and it works against them all the time. And all the time they don't have the balls to do it, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. So this is a classic example. So the new Texas law effectively bans abortions around 6 weeks. As you know, a lot of the time, if you're pregnant in 6 weeks, you wouldn't even know you were pregnant in 6 weeks. So the Texas Right to Life claims at least 2,000 abortions have been presented in Texas since the law went into effect earlier this month. Now, this just gets better. This is wonderful. The new health advocates say that Texas law's unique method of enforcement, allowing anyone to sue abortion providers or people assisting pregnant women in obtaining the procedure, rather than relying on the government to enforce the ban. So it's helped the Senate Bill 8 sidestep Roe versus Wade, which is exactly what you're just talking about. And what's happened is this has actually gone to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court have gone, why not? So that's what they've basically done. There was a majority ruling that, yes, you can do this. They weren't actually saying it was right or it was wrong, but they weren't saying against it.
Right.
So what's happening now is that the only way to find out if this rule is fair income, this law is going to stand up, is it needs to be challenged. That's the only way. So
there'll be a few appeals, I'm assuming, over the coming months.
Well, there's already been a challenge now. So
okay.
What's happening is, just give me 2 seconds here. So the Federal Women's Health, my notes is just a little bit, okay. The Federal Women's Health Protection Act of 2021, introduced by Republican Judy Chu of California, ensures protection for abortion seekers and providers. The bill would permit healthcare providers to provide abortion services without limitations or requirements that single out the provision of abortion services. Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, Houston Democrat, Houston, Texas, spoke on the House floor on Tuesday, urging the Senate to support the legislation. So I just want to check that again.
So she's in favor of pro-life, or
no, they are trying to get that federal bill through that I was talking about before.
Okay.
It's trying it through the White House. Yeah, so that's what's happening there. But what she's saying is people are suffering with the Texas law. It's no place in society, which we know, obviously, and it is a violation of the Constitution of the United States, and that is what they're trying to pin down at the moment. So, this is the other side. But Republican freshman U.S. And an Irving Republican delivered emotional floor speech ahead of the vote, recounting a miscarriage while holding a model of a fetus, describing the pain of the experience, suggested that the loss of the child has lifelong consequences. She's actually voting for the Texas bill.
Right.
And
okay.
she's actually having a go at the Democrats, saying the party that claims to protect women is actively supporting policies that devalue the lives of women and children across the globe. That's what she was saying about the Democrats. But the problem about this law, in particular, obviously, that it's trying to sidestep Roe versus Wade, is particularly affecting communities of color, individuals with low incomes, and those who live in rural and underserved communities. The law also turns private citizens into bounty hunters, because I'm not sure if you know about this, but excuse me, anyone is empowered to bring lawsuits against anyone who they believe has helped another person get an abortion, including family members, faith leaders, those providing transportation and healthcare providers. So that basically means it's dob in a person who's trying to get an abortion. And
wow.
And Greg Abbott, who is the governor of Texas, said just not long ago, because he's passed this terrible bill and just thinks it's fantastic, because his way of defeating abortion and helping people that are really affected by maybe rape or domestic abuse or whatever the situation was from unwanted pregnancy, especially in that particular situation. His way was, I'm just going to kill all rapists.
Right. So eye for an eye.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah. He's just going to kill all rapists. He's going to stop all rapists. Somehow he's going to go into every single person's house that has a domestic abuser or whatever. And he lives in La La Land.
Yeah,
but
obviously does. Jeez.
He does. But
what an extreme.
Texas is a weird and wonderful place.
Well,
but
everyone's allowed to carry guns in Texas, so I'm not surprised by the weirdness. That's for sure.
Yeah, I heard a fantastic stat on that a little while ago. I think out of 300 million people, 340 million people that live in the States, I believe, I'm sure this was about right. I think there's only like about 30 million people that have all the guns.
Wow.
Tell me that's not scary. Tell me that's not scary.
So
one time when we do Party in the USA, I'll do a guns bit, and we'll really get stuck into exactly where it is and what it is, and just scare the bejesus out of us.
Okay.
But anyway, we need to crack on. We've only got about 13 minutes of the whole show to go.
Oh, yep.
But that's okay. So next week, as you know, we're going to have Dan Ellicott from the Irrational Fear podcast, which was the winner of the 2020 Comedy Podcast of the Year last year. And guess what? I'm in battery saver mode. You think I'd learn, wouldn't you? You'd think I'd
learn. He works in IT and he's forgotten to put his laptop onto charge. Rookie mistake. Can't believe it. Rookie mistake, mister.
I don't know.
I was just telling everyone, rookie mistake.
Yes, rookie mistake multiple times. I don't know. So I'm just going to wrap this up. But the fact is that there is separate lawsuits have been filed against a Dr. Alan Braid, a San Antonio doctor who admitted to performing an abortion prohibited under the new law. So the reason for doing that was, as I say, so they can actually challenge the new law. So now we'll just watch this space and see where we get to. So
so where it goes.
But,
we'll feature it in the future part in the USA.
Yeah, absolutely. But with that,
anyways,
it is.
Hey, get this crazy man off the streets.
But lately I've been drifting aimlessly.
Oh my God. Would you stop changing channels and just tell me what's on the box? What is on the box, Wency? What you got?
What is on the box? Or in our household, we have decided to venture into the Marvel universe or the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Nice. What you watching?
So Disney Plus. For anyone who's got Disney Plus out there, not all, almost all of the Marvel Universe movies are out. and we are going to we've started watching it in chronological order, so not the way they were released in the cinema, but in order of the storyline.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Like a little project with the family, is it?
Yeah. But I'll put in show notes so you can see the order. But the one I'm reviewing today is Captain America, and it doesn't mean I'm going to go through all these in the future. What's on the box, because it's too many. There's about 15 or 20 movies, so I'm not going to do that. I won't.
Well, I think
bore
Deadpool's
everyone,
in
but-
there too, isn't it? Is Deadpool in
It
there?
is. It is. Can't see it in the list, but I thought it was. Yeah, Captain America, First Avenger. It was released in 2011, but it was actually the fifth movie released from Marvel. So Captain America, First Avenger. It's about 2 hours, 6 minutes long. Not that you notice, because it's action-packed and special effects. And the storyline is reasonably interesting. As always, you get a cameo from Stan Lee.
Questionable.
Yes. It tells the origin story of Captain America, or Steve Rogers, an American soldier during World War II. The main issue I have with the movie are several plot holes or similar in the storyline. For example, you got the lead actress who's an undercover agent, in high heels, red lipstick.
Reese Witherspoon.
It's similar, I guess. Yeah.
Is it Scarlett Johansson?
No, it's not. Don't know who the actress is. Didn't look that up. Sorry, but it's neither one of those.
Right.
But yeah, I just don't believe she would be have a high position like that in World War II back in those times, when the only images we ever saw of women back then were nurses and things like that, not spies or leaders of a secret agency.
There were spies in World War II, in particular, female spies. Absolutely, absolutely, because there was a lot of double agents, especially that would try to infiltrate the Nazis in particular.
Yeah,
because they never suspected women as a rule. So,
true. But that just stood out. It just stood out. You see a sea of men, and then you only saw the one woman. If we'd seen more women in the movie, I think it would have been a bit more believable.
Probably. Yeah. Probably. It sounds a bit male-centric, considering the guy's name's Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers. And the other, I don't want to spoil the movie, but without giving too much away, yes, Captain America defeats the enemy, as all these superheroes do. But he makes decisions that could have been avoided. And I'll leave a show note link as to what I'm talking about, because if I say it, it's going to give the ending away. But he didn't have to make the decision he did, because he could have just walked away from that situation and the ending wouldn't have been the same. And it just, to me, made no sense. So
how many blurt
lines like that?
How many blurt stars?
I give it 3 out of 5.
Okay, 3 out of 5 blurt stars.
Yep.
3 out of 5 blurt stars.
Worth watching, but yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Excellent. Well, the one I have is, as I said before, there's a new feature film called "Make It a Big Deal," and it's got Christian Van Buren in it. And I think you were alluding to before that, I think in 2016, was it?
2014 to 16.
2014. They had an ABC show called Soulmates. Well, anyway, this is basically the blurb on Christian Van Buren, how he sees himself. He sees himself as an everyday Aussie, comedian with a provocative instinct, a father with a keen sense of fairness and justice. Christian is proud of his country, blah, 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 blah. But the big deal begins with Christian mocking the fact that the US democracy has been taken over by big money. As you know, our Christian, oh my goodness gracious, what the hell was under that? Porter was just given $1 million, and he's just no idea.
Does he star in the show? Does he?
Yeah, he may. He might get a call. He might get a call. But yeah, this is a wake-up call about the frightening extent to which money has infiltrated politics. Christian's unlikely journey shows us why we should care and how we might work together better to ensure our democracy is safeguarded from being sold to the highest bidder. So as you know, we've tried to get funding into both parties exposed so that there's a transparency of knowing who's putting money into parties you're voting for. And it's quite dangerous and it's scary to think that if you wanted to get $100,000 into one of the parties, all you need to do is do it in $13,000 increments.
Yeah, that's frightening.
Because if it's under 13,000, they don't need to declare it, which is just disgraceful. So now I have a little clip. It's always nice to have a little clip. So I have a little clip.
Is.
And if it all works, it's got us on the side. Yeah. And
I'm listening.
See how we go.
The right to vote is a privilege that I reckon many Aussies take for granted. But are we being taken for granted ourselves? And if we are, what does this mean for our country and for my kids' future?
So it's illegal for me to make a donation on an agreement that there will be some kind of outcome.
I think that might be a bribe.
Did you ever make donations to the Labor Party?
Yeah, sure. It's $100,000.
What do you get for $100,000?
We've got one of the worst political donations laws in the developed world.
Surely not as bad as America.
Worse.
Should we be angry about this?
We should be really angry about it.
So many bad decisions are made in this country because of money in politics.
Those lobbyists are like locusts. They are everywhere.
They have the political clout to actually get the outcomes they want, even if it's not the best outcomes for the country.
It's a very fine line, and corruption is often hard to see.
My old job was to mislead them.
That sounds very
So that gives you Yes, I knew you want to. And I'll definitely put the link in the show notes. And the link also, I had it here somewhere. I can't remember. We can sign the anti-lobby, which the Blurt, the new Blurt has signed. I've signed on your behalf. I hope you're okay with that. But yeah, no, it's an absolute cracker. As you can hear from that, it's right up our alley. So we need to push it to all our friends. And me, obviously, I need to push it to you, but you need to push it to all your friends. So
especially with an upcoming election, might
yes, which we're not exactly sure when that's going to happen. But I tell you what, the upcoming what am I saying? The upcoming election, it's enough to drive you to drink. Those wonderful dulcet tones.
Ah, yes.
Have you got the you've got the listen to that. That's just wonderful.
It is, isn't it?
Just show you my beer today because we've only got a couple of minutes.
Yeah. So what's
look at that.
Valhalla.
It's a bit funky.
Yeah. Got
a bit funkiness.
Looks
and
good.
It might even taste all right because it's not 12%.
I can't remember that beer, but hey.
Oh, I can. It was pink and disgraceful.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
It was 9.8.
Oh, you're going to be surprised by my one then.
Oh, he's gone for the.
Let's have a look.
Well, I've poured it beautifully, as you can tell.
Oh, you got it in a proper glass too.
Oh yeah, I don't muck around. Straight from Tasmanian Brewery.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, Iron House.
Should be nice and crisp.
Oh yeah.
So tropical ale.
Yeah, it smells really good. Really, really good. Hey, where's my sheet?
I don't have it here.
Okay.
I was trying to
share
just have
to do a quickie tonight then. That's a little bit. That wasn't sounding how it should have been sounding. That was a bit.
There we go.
Oh, you got the sheet. Oh, good.
Yeah. I got it.
You can put the sheet up
There we
again.
go.
Sorry, my bad.
Yep.
All right, excellent. So what have we got? What have we got? Smell.
Smell.
Damn
Out of 10.
fine. Damn fine. Out of 10. I've got to be quick here. 7.
Yep. 7. Appearance. Which I forgot to do before.
Oh, geez, that's good too. Really good. It's beautiful. Lovely golden. Really nice.
Out of 10.
8.
Taste.
27.
27. Whoa. It's nearly a record.
I just went, I've got to say something quickly.
Go on instinct. Aftertaste. Out of 20.
16.
Drinkability.
28.
You do the math while I
will.
on with the next one.
55.
My one
71.
is Helios.
78.
Brewery.
86. 86, sorry. Yeah.
All right, so mine is Helios Brewery.
Oh, very cool. We've both gone down the Viking. The Viking
Yeah, we have, haven't we?
It's very
How fun is
good.
that? That's me on a good day.
That's me on a bad day.
True. So this one is the Thunderbolt 2 IPA, double IPA. And God, it's hard to open. It's baby proof. It's child proof. It helps if I open it the right way around.
Does indeed. How can you how can you open a can the wrong way around? How's that possible?
It didn't help that I wasn't looking which direction I was pulling the ring from.
All right, fair enough. That sounds terrible as well.
All right.
Oh yeah, that's darker than mine. Yeah, that's darker.
All right. So this one is 9% alcohol, 2.7 standard drinks in a can. Appearance. It's got a
Nice.
nice head. Oh, putting in the wrong
Thank
direction.
you. Thank you very much.
Nice and dark
I need
amber.
all the compliments I can get.
I'll give that an 8 for appearance.
Yeah, it looks pretty damn good.
Oh, smell. It's delicious. I'll give it an 8 as well.
I reckon it's going to go through the roof, this.
Oh, it's a bit bitter.
Oh.
Which I don't mind. Taste. 25. Okay. Aftertaste.
You could definitely.
It's a
drink
bit
few of
dry.
those.
Bit dry around the mouth after you've sipped it.
Yeah.
14. Drinkability. 25. Want to do the maths again for me, Mr. Guru
Oh, yes.
Maths?
I will. Where am I? Where are they? Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. 58, 66. So, 81. No, 80. Right on.
80?
Yeah, I think so. 15. Yeah, 80. Bang on.
Nice.
Bang
Oh, yeah,
on.
that's it. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, cheers,
80.
buddy.
Nice. Yeah, cheers to you, my friend. Absolutely. And as you know, we've got the big episode next week, our 50th.
Yes.
Our 50th. So it's got to be champagne. It's got to be champagne.
Yes.
I offer you a little champagne.
Might have to.
Yes, I think so.
And we've got special guest, as you mentioned earlier, Dan Illich.
We do. Dan Illich will be on. Very much looking forward to that.
Yep.
It will be a
comedian, writer, director.
Oh yeah. Raconteur, if you like.
Yeah. Prankster.
Yeah, very much so. But what I love, if you look on LinkedIn, his page says he's an investigative humorist. I thought,
yes, I've seen that.
Title.
Yeah.
I like
Love
that.
it. I hope that's on his passport. That'd be awesome.
Yes,
passport.
yes, it would.
If you remember what a passport is.
Yeah, that's a good question too. Exactly right. Look, we're going to go out tonight, not with any music whatsoever, and I'll work out what we'll put on the podcast because as we start to get bigger and bigger, we need to be very careful about what music we play on this show. So I'm wanting it to be published and for people to actually have a look at it. So so it's good night for me.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that, people. And the podcast will be out on Monday as usual. As I say, our 50th next week. Look out for
Yes.
that. Dan Illich will be absolutely sensational. We're looking forward to it. We'll see you then.